So one of the big benefits of grid tie solar is that the clients who have grid tie can sell power back to the grid during peak hours. Historically, during peak hours, to meet the demand that we put on the grid for what we want to use in power, they have to use fossil fuels, often jet fuel, to meet that demand, which is a great energy dense fuel. But with the solar grid tie, they can reduce the amount of fossil fuels of that jet fuel they have to use. So that is the good benefit for grid tie, if it makes sense in the other areas. Grid tie, which is what most of the companies out there do and offers grid tie, you still get the panels, which some have what's called a microinverter built into the panel. Typically the microinverter requires an electrical signal from the grid in order to function. So if the grid goes down, the panels will not turn on and you have no power until the grid's back up. That's one of the downfalls of the microinverter solar panels. Now, some of the panels used in grid ties don't have the microinverter, which I think is better, it's a personal opinion, because they don't need that signal from the grid. Grid tie systems may come with battery bank, but usually they're very small, not enough to get you through the night, and some don't even allow you to have battery banks. You read your contract very closely. And there's a few factors that we want to convey that you check on if you do choose grid tie. Because grid tie can be a good deal for you as a customer if your panels are actually facing true south. We've seen panels put on houses that are facing north and east and west, which is going to limit how much solar you bring in. If they face south, you're getting the morning sun from the east, the noon sun, and the setting sun from the west. If you have them facing west, you're going to miss that entire morning and most of the midday sun. So check on that. Check to see that the local utility you're using has a one-to-one payback plan, which means that whatever kilowatt you produce for the grid, you get paid the same amount as what you would buy it back at night. A lot of the utilities are only offering like a fraction, maybe 25 cents on what they're buying it from you, but charging you, let's say, $1. So check on that, make sure that's going to come out to your benefit, because you know, you want to do your part for the environment, but you also want to do your part for your finances. A really good situation is if you work third shift and you own a house that faces, roof line faces south, because during the day when you're getting maximum solar capture, that will be usable and available to you. And then at night, when most of us are home using power and buying it from utility, you're at work not needing anything. So that's a really good situation for someone to do grid tie. Another situation would be if you have a large plot of land that you own and you lease it for solar fields. That way you're selling everything that you generate. Make sure that the financing required for a grid tie system is going to be less than the value of your home. Otherwise it's not a lien, but it kind of comes out like a lien on your home or a second mortgage, and that gets, for me, that would make me nervous as someone who tries to be financially responsible. And so the way that you determine that is return on investment, ROI. So check that ROI, check that cost, and do make sure that you're allowed to add battery backup. Again, some allow you, some don't.